Duckies, and welcome to the demo for Murder is Game Over Deal Killer. Now, last Steam Next Fest, I did one for Murder is Game Over Streaming Death. They are churning these out. They are amazing. And I can't wait to see what we have with this one. Let's see what kind of ongoings we have here. Enter spacebar to advance the game text. You can also use the mouse cursor to point and click. This is a demo. No, I did not play the first one. First case involves solving the murders of eccentric and world-renowned game designer Russell Gallant. Tim created the wildly successful Paladin Dream game franchise, published by Activision's game. The upcoming case focuses on the inner circle of the video game publisher. Present day. When this whole adventure started, I was at home looking through the day's mail. In the middle of a pile of coupons for video games, there it was, a certified letter from the desk of Billy Kramer, president and CEO of Activision Games. It was addressed to Cleo and myself. Of course it's addressed to Cleo! Cleo's awesome! Detective Guy and Cleo, I heard about you through the business of the Gargoyle's Curse when you performed so brilliantly. I'm writing to summon you for my own help at this current junction. Since the deal to sell off Activision Games to Comp Inc. has nearly become finalized, I've started receiving death threats. Because of the detailed personal nature of the writing, I believe that the sender is someone close to me. I fear for my personal safety, which is why I've called upon both of you to join me. Your airline ticket shall arrive in tomorrow's mail. You and Cleo shall meet me at in the Italian Alps at a private Christmas party for my inner circle to celebrate the buyout. See you soon. William Kramer the First. Didn't believe it either, but the next day the airline tickets arrived as promised, and Cleo and I were on a plane headed for Torino Airport in northwest Italy. Before we knew it, we were riding on the back of a chartered snowmobile taking us way up into the mountains. Turn it down just a little bit, guys, as we're going here. There we go. Excuse me, driver, where exactly are we going? The Cresta di Tagna Hotel. It's at the top of the ridge, 10 kilometers away from the nearest town. Can we make it there in this horrendous snowstorm? Not to worry, I've been shuttling guests to these mountains for years. It may look treacherous, but I'm used to these conditions. You're not the first to ask, and I assure you I am not the one you need to be afraid of. Be afraid of? What do you mean by that remark? They say the Costa di Montagna Hotel and the surrounding area is haunted. I guess you two haven't heard of the Alpine ghost legend of the White Lady before. No? Should we have? If you treat me to a steak dinner and a couple rounds of drinks sometime, I'll tell you all about it too. With that, Cleo and I arrived at the small isolated Alpine hotel on top of a craggy mountain ridge. Now I see why we had to be brought here by snowmobile. The terrain is so steep that there are no roads. While the inside of the hotel was toasty warm, our welcoming reception was not. Sorry if you guys hear some popping. That is the Gloria. The president of Activision Games is a very busy man. I just verified with Senior Mr. Kramer himself, and I assure you that you're not on the party attendance list. We don't want any more uninvited guests. Senior Mr. Kramer paid to bring us here. He sent the letter in the mail. What letter? I better not let these guys see it, since his letter mentions death threats from someone close to him. The contents of the letter are private, confidential matter between the client and myself. What nerve? Why would you... Why would my illustrious father stoop to calling on a common detective like you? There must be some strange misunderstanding. I'm sorry you've been put through this inconvenience. I'll call for the snowmobile driver to shuttle you back as soon as possible. Cleo and I must speak to Senior Billy Kramer at once. Where is he? Please get out of my way and let me do my job. Hey, who turned out the lights? More like, what's with the creepy music? Power must have gone out because of the storm. Creepy, creepy music. Cleo, do you hear that strange singing? I can't tell where it's coming from. Short while later. So you're a detective. That's right. Detective guy at your service. Then what's with the dog? Oh, this is my detective partner, Cleo, the clue-sniffing dog. Cleo can find clues that we humans can't. You're serious? Absolutely. Cleo and I have solved many challenging cases together when the police were baffled. Without Cleo's skill, it would have been impossible to get the job done. Excuse me, innkeeper, do you mind telling me exactly what you need a detective for? Happened a short while ago. When the light suddenly went out, somebody was murdered. Murdered? The Casa de Montagna is my hotel, and I'll assist you in any way I can. What do you want to know first? Please. I don't know much more than you, but I'll fill you in on what I do know. You already told me yourself, okay. Now you're here and you have a chance to help him. Are you ready? This small alpine hotel is called the Cresta de Montagna. It was originally a ski lodge, and it's way up in the mountains, many kilometers away from the nearest town. Billy Kramer Sr. reserved this place to hold his corporate holiday party. This big room is the lounge. The den is the far left and up the hall. You'll find Mr. Kramer in there. The guest quarters are through the door just up from here. My office is the far right lower door, but I don't want you snooping around those areas yet. Outside is a huge mountain ridge expanse full of snow and ice. It's what our hotel is named after. You'd be crazy to go wandering around out there without wearing some crampons. Dead body is Billy Kramer I, the president and CEO of Hack Division Games. His company produced the wildly successful Paladin Dream franchise. Mr. Kramer was a very prominent, wealthy businessman. This holiday was supposed to be celebrating the sale of his company to computer conglomerate Comp Inc. for an enormous amount of money, but now he's dead. He contacted us in his hour of need, but we arrived too late. You'll find Billy Kramer's body in the den. It's the room past the fireplace, to the far left, and up the hall. I'd appreciate if we would go in there and examine the body as soon as possible. We need you to find out who killed him. This place is isolated enough that it would take 6 guests to his big blowout party. 7th person also crashed the party as an uninvited guest. I put them in the last spare room, including myself. There are 8 of us here. Alright guys. Figured out it was my headphones, not anything to do with the actual sound. Okay, so let's end up the... What is that? Oh, it's Santa. Sorry, it looked weird for a moment. Alright, let's take a look. No, can't look at the PC. The body of the murder victim, Billy Kramer I. His expensive suit is stained with blood from the dagger wound in his back. World-famous businessman really wrote to Cleo and I in his hour of need, but the travel arrangements weren't fast enough, and we arrived too late to protect him. Judging by his clothes and by the position of the dagger, it looks as though he was stabbed in the middle of a business meeting. If he had his back to the killer, that suggests that the murderer was someone who he knew well. His guard was down. But then why would he write to us about death threats coming from someone in his inner circle? Could someone from the outside have come into this room and murdered the senior Mr. Kramer, or is the killer someone here in the hotel? Anything else to... You're right, Cleo. This is a good time for you to look for clues. This is the victim's laptop. It must have shut down during the power outage and the battery's dead. It's a brand new comping system right out of the box, complete with these speakers. The electricity for these speakers shut off during the blackout too. There's no way that ghostly singing in the dark could have come from this computer. Clue saved to your case file. Cleo deserves a treat. Where's the treat button? Cleo still needs a treat button. Cleo found a clue. On the other side of these windows is a steep mountain cliff. There's no way that somebody could have entered the room from the outside. That means that the murderer is someone who's still in this hotel. Each of the 8 inhabitants are suspects. Need to find out who had a motive for killing the senior Billy Kramer, and where each person was during the blackout. Clue saved your case file. We still need a button for Cleo treats. 1 second. Options? I can't see controls, so there is no Cleo button. Cleo treat button. Cleo found a clue. Title of this book is Ghost Legends of the Alps. One of the saddest and spookiest alpine legends is the tragic tale of the White Lady. Supposedly, encounters with the White Lady ghosts date back hundreds of years in the most remote parts of the isolated mountainous region. During the 8th century, there lived a local country woman who was married to a brave paladin knight. One day, her husband left to go fight honorably in the Crusades. The bride vowed to wait patiently for his triumphant return. She adorned a hooded white robe and shawl which covered her face, so that no other man would look upon her until that day. She waited patiently, singing beautiful songs about the glory of faith, which echo into the valley of villages below the tall peaks. Days of waiting turned into months, into years, and eventually decades. Finally, one night she encountered a traveling gypsy fortune-teller in the mountains and inquired about what happened to her crusading husband. The fortune-teller's magic revealed that the husband she had remained faithful to for all this time had abandoned her. The knight had married the princess of an exotic faraway kingdom, betraying her faith and leaving her alone in the world. Angered and disgusted, it was said that the poor woman in white offered her soul to the devil that night. Though she disappeared from the sight of the local village marketplaces, the people now heard the chilling melodies of accursed hymns of evil whispering through the Rocky Mountain walls. To this day, the White Lady remains as a legendary harbinger of death in the Italian Alps. Wayward skiers, explorers, and other unlucky residents have claimed to see a faceless woman in a white robe and shawl, or to hear dark, ghostly singing around the time of an unfortunate death in the mountains. Superstitious locals know better than to travel outside during a blizzard at night when the White Lady is bound to be out seeking new souls to join her in eternal misery. not talking to the dog. We usually don't even allow pets to the hotel. What did you deduce about the case now that you've had some time to start investigating? If you're really an ace detective, then you should at least be able to tell me some basic facts about what's happened. First, what was the murder weapon that killed Billy Kramer the First? Killed by a stab wound in his back from what looked like a Roman dagger. Roman dagger, like the death of the Emperor, I see. Cleo and I are determined to get to the bottom of it. We owe that much. One more question, just to make sure there's no way around it. You're absolutely sure that the murderer has to be someone inside the hotel? Could an outside assassin have entered through the windows in the den, for example? The murderer is an insider. The den windows open over a steep ledge. There's no way somebody could have entered the room from outside. The only way into this hotel is through the front door here in the lounge, which means that the murderer is one of the 8 hotel inhabitants. I can't dispute the fact. Your logic is ice cold. Alright, I'll step aside. Seems absolutely necessary for you to interview my hotel guests. Go through the door and you'll find the guest chambers. You can interview me too if you really think I have something to hide. Thanks, we appreciate your cooperation. You do realize that this mountain ridge is haunted though, right? Cleo and I stumbled upon a book about alpine folklore containing a story about the White Lady ghost legend, if that's what you mean. At the risk of sounding superstitious, did you hear any ghostly singing right before the murder happened? I heard something. That's all I can say for sure. Good luck with the investigation, detective guy. Alright, Cleo, now it's time to go interview some suspects. Are you saying that I'm a suspect too? What connection could I possibly have to these American corporate types? Suspect added to case file. Anna Russo, Casa de Montague Hotel innkeeper. Billy Kramer the First and his staff booked this hotel for the week. I was told that they were celebrating some kind of corporate merger. I recognized him and one of the other guests from seeing them here 2 years ago. Otherwise, this place doesn't get many visitors anymore. Not since the ghostly doings have been happening around these parts anyway. I certainly wasn't privy to the inner workings of the businessman like Billy Kramer the First, but if you want to find out more, you should go take a look in his bedroom upstairs. Naturally, he booked the Emperor's suite for himself. It's the big room upstairs at the end of the hall to the left. Well, you've read the book about the White Lady's spirit haunting in this area. There's been a lot of mysterious circumstances at this hotel surrounding the ghost legend, but this is the first time somebody's ever died because of it. Just be careful, detective, especially with the snowstorm going on. I was at the front desk earlier at the time when the lights went out. I heard that horrible singing. I am suspicious of the one staying in guest room 3, the one they call creative director named Jerry Small. 2 years ago, Mr. Small was here at the hotel with Billy Kramer the First, as well as the original creator of Paladin Dream, Russell Gallant. Now Kramer and Gallant are both dead. Jerry Small kept muttering something about a parchment and treasure on the mountain. I had to keep warning him not to venture outside the hotel without crampons. I think he's out of his mind. Thank you. Can I investigate her room? Innkeeper said she didn't. Okay, fine. Although that's suspicious. Them to meet people and the victims in her circle. Maybe I can find out. Who knows about the letter we received? Darn it! Once again. That's the end of this demo. They always get me started into it, and then it's like, nope, no more. But I suppose that's the sign of a really good demo. Either way, thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell icon to keep up to date on all the videos, and remember to free the feral wildflower in you. Bye-bye!